This video right here, I'm going to be showing y'all how to replace a wheel bearing and or whole hub assembly in your F-150. I'm going to be replacing the whole entire hub. Now, this is a 2012 F-150, but from 2012 up to 2024, I'm sure it's all relatively the same with F-150s. So yes, this video is going to be how to replace a wheel bearing on a 2012 F-150 and up. All right, to start, I got to jack the truck up. So, truck's jacked up. Next step is removing the wheel. Y'all can make fun of me all you want. It's a vibrant yellow color, so what I'm going to use to organize my bolts, my lug nuts, everything. So, let's get this process started. So, here's with the wheel taken off. Now, to get to your hub, your wheel bearing, you're going to have to take off your caliper bracket, and then your rotor. So that's just going to start. Do a time lapse of it, but your brake, your actual caliper itself is a 13 millimeter. Okay, that's a 13. All right, 13s for your caliper. For your caliper bracket, it is a 21. So a 21 for the caliper bracket. Now I'm gonna do a time lapse of me going through this. I have the caliper bolts off. So we're gonna pull the caliper off. Be careful not to snap your brake line like I almost just did. A smart person would bungee strap that up or something. I'm just gonna leave it sitting right there because I work on trucks all the time. I know it ain't gonna fall nowhere. Okay. Well, as you can see, that just dropped right out. So you got two decent sized bolts, 21 millimeter head. Here's your bracket with your brake pads on the inside. And then the rotor just comes right off. Okay, well, this is the gist of everything you have to take off in order to get to the actual bearing for hub assembly itself. Rotor, caliper bracket, caliper itself, and then, you know, your pads and stuff that are inside your bracket. 4 bolts is pretty much it. Lug nuts. There's supposed to be a dustpan right here, but I already have it taken off. Sitting right there. So, the next step in this process is I'm gonna have to turn my wheel to my right, and then there's an Allen key right here to get this wheel speed sensor out. And then there is, hold on, let me get a good camera angle. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 bolts, and so 4 bolts, your speed sensor, and then it should pop right out. But these things are normally pretty hard to get out, so you're gonna need some sort of like penetrating spray or something along those lines. All right, well, I'm gonna have to go get my Trek keys to turn the wheel because this last bolt right here is a little bit of a hard angle for me to get the impact in. Now, listen, before we even get any further into this video, okay? I've replaced, like, I don't know, this is the 4th wheel bearing I put on this truck because the setups and shit I've ran all my life. Anyways, if you don't have power tools, I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do it by hand. Power tools make your life so much easier. If I was doing this by hand, I wouldn't have got it done in 10 minutes. I got 1 bolt and then an Allen key that's holding me now. And then I'll be able to get this out. But I know it's gonna be in there tight because these suckers are always hard to get out. But yeah, I'll resume the video when I get to that point. Right now, I got my wheel turned all the way to the left. Well, on that side. But anyways, to get this last bolt right here. So the next step would be to get this out with your Allen key, but I'm going to follow this, which goes in here, which goes in here. Which goes right to here. Why the hell is this electrical tapes? Okay, well, I guess I must have not got a good connection or something, because, well, I see why it was electrical tapes. Okay, well, anyway, so this is supposed to be in here, but that's where your clip's gonna be for your sensor. I got the bolt for the speed sensor out, that one right here. Okay, well, prying it honestly didn't take long at all. It took me less than a minute to get this thing off, but yeah, it's the old hub assembly. Now I'm going to put the new one in. Here's the new hub. Now, when you're putting this in here, it is important to pay attention to your speed sensor because it needs to go up. If you have it sideways or you have it in any other way, downward, I mean upside down, sideways, you're gonna have your ABS light go off. So it's vital to keep this upwards when you're putting this in. So it's pretty easy. It goes right on in, and then you're gonna get your bolts, tighten everything down, and yeah, I'll just run a time lapse of me doing this part. I lied, I'm just gonna record a video. So anyways, 4 bolts. So I was all focused on getting the old one out, but I guess the new bearing just came with one that was already in. So I'm gonna follow this up. Speed sensor gets plugged up there, which I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, and then I'll get back with y'all. Okay, so now the actual bearing's on, bolted in. I'm gonna fix all this up, but speed sensor's plugged in. So the next step is going to be putting your actual rudder on. For your caliper bracket. All right, so these are the 2 bolts I'm putting into the caliper bracket. Gonna tighten it up and go from there. Next step is gonna be your actual caliper, but I gotta put my brake pads back in, and I guess 2 pieces of hardware. That's that, and then the caliper goes right back on. So when we're doing this kind of stuff in the shop, whether it's brake work or anything, we pull the caliper off. Normally we pull these guide pins out and we grease them up and stuff and put it back in. I should do it. I don't have the grease here to do it, so I'm going to skip that step right now. But now I'm putting the 2 bolts back in for the caliper. Okay, well, now I got to put the tire back on, but that pretty much concludes this video, how to replace a wheel hub assembly on a 2009 through 14 F150 rear wheel drive. But yeah, it's pretty basic, simple. I think anybody can do it, so put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. But anyways, y'all like, subscribe, leave a comment. See y'all in the next one. Before anybody goes and comments anything unnecessary, I know I have to screw this in, and I'm gonna have to unplug this from up here and rerun this, but yeah, that's the gist of everything. So I had to replace wheel bearing. Goodbye. I also forgot to put my dust shield back on, but I'm not going through all that work. It's not too much work. I ain't gonna throw all that to put that dust shield on. It's not too important to me. Hey, job complete. New wheel hub.